feels like to go around here. Which team would you hate to be going up against going into game one?
I mean, both these teams just look so annoying to play to. I don't want to be
a new meta, a new patch, and a whole bunch of new picks popping out here just today alone. It's J-Mac and Mifflin.
These healers, I think it's just a great pick here.
And Captain Twig kind of going over towards this Hun Bats. Well, maybe you have to hold that thought. Variety pops out the barrier. The Vampire Bats go through in the Screech. Variety's just holding on for as long as he can to try and get away. But First Blood inevitable here for the Scarabs. If they can find the last bit of damage, it will be SOT picking it up and putting the Scarabs up on the board.
Variety just standing a little bit
in the lane for just a little while. Well, Baronic back in the Alposh is trying to get anything, and Captain Twig, you were talking about it a moment ago, he'll leap in, find inbound. A root will catch him, and then a grab right after. Genetics finds inbound, and now inbound has nowhere left to go, and the Kings can turn around and put one of their own.
Just gotta wonder what inbound was doing in the
big
jungle.
man teams put out there, but they want to get aggressive on the map early on for the Kings. They got one over in duo lane, maybe looking towards one here in mid lane. Baronic in danger, but Scream finds another kill on Variety on the opposite side of the board, and Baronic drops the ultimate and prays that that's enough.
Whoa!
From Genetics will find the last tick of damage, and now inbound wants to try and save this red buff, but I'm not sure a lone Geb can stop three.
No, but we saw already the big man Tings has got plenty of damage. Another red buff invade attempt is not successful this time around. Baronic, though, loses out a lot.
Fear no evil, out of Captain Twig, a leap in, a stone shield to help him out, a cataclysm right after, and Scream puts him down, but the revive out of Genetics will get him out of danger. The Camelot Kings unsuccessful in stealing the red buff. But at least they get out with their lives unless Variety can dive in and take one into the tower, a leap over the wall. The camp not enough to kill him, and Scream will make sure to put him down and make him pay for that rotation.
Hey, that's a good trade for Variety there.
Just to deny any chance of SOT getting in, but the Camelot Kings get the Fury down to about a quarter before they're forced to back away from an inbound. Spins the Cataclysm, and the crypts have been emptied onto the Cold Fury. It's the Solar Scarabs coming up with their objective this time, and now inbound might be in danger.
SOT gonna be the first one to fall. Credit to Netroid this time around, but that should spell the end of this engagement. And what a fiesta Camelot Kings to work their way forward.
Raider Scorpion does get picked up here by the Solar Scarabs, and now the Kings making a rotation towards this right side of the map. Powermancer about to respawn, and in goes Captain Twig.
Great
ult. Fear no evil, but a Cataclysm out of inbound may be just enough to save his life. So damage in from Netroid up against inbound. Inbound is low, and Variety wants to be the one to put him in the dirt. He'll get the first kill of the fight, and now it's a 4v5. Empty the crypts have been dropped, but Stewart riding in on the cavalry will put a lot of damage right back out. The Sanctified Fields holds out the Kings for just a little while longer.
Sanctified Fields used defensively as Variety takes a good deal of damage here. Opwash does not have the output to finish off that
anyway, so it's really only Genetics as far as the ults are concerned. Variety leaps in to find Baronic, and already down to half health is the mage. Aegis expended, Captain Twig goes in, and the Stone Shield expended out of the support is not enough to save the life of the mid laner.
And the Camelot Kings can yet again back up, resustain, and maintain threat on this objective. Fire Giant pulled, and the Solar Scarabs have to stick around.
Fire Giant started up. Scream, inbound, and Stewart here to try and stop this one. But again, it's Variety diving in aggressively, and the barrier is bullying Stewart. He's going to have to use everything he's got to try and get out of this fight. Into the mist, while his frontliners try and soak up as much damage as they can to help him out. SOT now has to dash away, but he gets pulled through, has to use the beads instantly to try and break out. A Stone Shield from inbound holds him in, but once again, Variety diving on top of their heads to hold everybody out, and inbound goes down.
SOT still in the middle of everybody, falls down. Captain Twig double, and now it's just up to Stewart and Scream to make their way out of this engagement. And yet again, the Camelot Kings win a team fight, are allowed to back up, resustain, pull the Fire Giant, and force the Scarabs to step up.
This time they've got Fear No Evil out of Captain Twig as Scream tries to go in for a steal, but he's down to half health himself, maybe even worse, as he's being pushed back by the barrier from Variety, and Genetics
is only going to keep getting better and better. We need to see more from this Opwash. We need to see more follow-up from SOT, or we need to see Stewart get out alive.
Stewart, I'm not sure he's going to get that option. Fear No Evil just in case, but it's Genetics who grabs him with the root while he's still
climb 1 entire minute on this Fire Giant buff.
Quarter health on the Phoenix, but it's a blink in by Variety to get some damage in the backline, but he'll go back to help out and peel SOT off of his team. Fear No Evil expended with the Sanctified Fields and it empty the crypts. A lot of ultimates thrown out, but not a lot of blood to be shed. Phoenix still under fire by the Camelot Kings. Netroid will turn his sights towards it and take down the bird. But Captain Twig diving so deep in, Baronic at least able to pick up
away
one.
some of those HP shields, as does Sunder, so he's going to be very strong, but repositioning, not his strong suit, and he's caught out.
Inbound, left on by Variety, the barrier to push him away, but he's going to get caught out of the rollout once again, and Inbound has nowhere to go, nowhere left to turn, except towards the grave. Netroid's the one who picks him up and puts a Scarabs. They got their prize, they got their Phoenix. They're going to head on out, but maybe Captain Twig has something else to answer.
SOT stepping pretty far forward here. The Camelot Kings setting up a gank.
Captain Twig going in. It's going to be a beads pop out of SOT, and Inbound with the Cataclysm only gets 2 in the back line. And immediately Captain Twig rotating over. Fear no evil finds Inbound, and he's got nowhere left to go. Big Man Ting's the one to put him down, and the Scare's Blessing procs to get him back to life. Scream with no life of his own. He's going to go down, and SOT will just be the final nail in the coffin for the Solar Scarabs. Camelot Kings in 27 can close out game 1.
Yeah, if anyone was a Book of the Dead hater or non-believer, let that one change your mind. Big Man Tings just has too many lives to play with.
Stewart rooted out, half health, and forced back to the fountain, while the Camelot Kings can run it right down in the throne room, take game number 1, and put themselves nice and comfortable here in the first day of the playoffs.
I gotta chalk that one up to draft diff, man. It just felt like the Scarabs
slower and then 1 games in the late. It's such a unique team, the Solar Scarab squad. And you're giving a lot of power, I think, over to Scream here with this Naja to start things off well and get the Scarabs off to a good start. Game number 2, it's time to see if the Scarabs can tie.
And what an interesting way they've gone about it. And AMC, who we just saw some recent buffs, and I think Neil was right to highlight some of those buffs that came out of here with the AMC up.
The Scarabs hovering around. Skyhook used by Inbound just to create some space. And the Camelot Kings with Jingwei all the way back in base don't want to stick around.
Variety once again against Scream here. This time the Camazotz is in the solo lane, not the jungle, but it's the same story that we saw in the game number 1. SOT
Big whiff.
able to juke out a little bit of damage there. Variety eats a couple of tower shots. He's going to have to back away. Only a Blackthorn, so no defense, and maybe not a whole lot of defense left for Big Man Tings. He does have an ultimate out of his support, and with the help of Captain Twig, they take down Baronic for first blood.
Yeah, get used to seeing that. Baronic just lost his beads, so I'm expecting to see it. Still has the beads available. He's already moving in towards the Breastplate of Valor. Just kidding. His bunny brought it to him, so he's done with it. Genetics, though, might just be done here.
Caught out, Riptide able to get some distance close through, but gets rooted out in a second one, so he doesn't get the boost out. But maybe he doesn't need it. Blinking from Scream does find him with the ultimate. He's going to need a little bit of help on the bottom end to get secure that kill. It will be Baronic who grabs him, and Netroid forced to use the ult, but he can't get there in time. Stewart puts him down.
Big Man Tings now on the retreat. It's a Solar Scarabs making an aggressive play towards this red buff. Just a couple of picks opens up that door. But what can they do with the space created? It still is. He does force the ultimate out defensively from Variety. This early game pressure is all the Scarabs need.
Inbound blinks in, but he's going to have to use his leaps to try and get away. Riptides to close in the distance. And how far can Inbound run? How far will he be able to get? Not too far, as the pin locks him down for Big Man Tings to do the final damage necessary.
And maybe now the Camelot Kings can pay back that favor, steal away the blue buff, Pyromancer spawned up. Seems like Twig wants to get involved, but great play from Inbound stops that in its tracks.
And the slow from the Honey means Genetics can't close that gap. It seemed like he was waiting for a Riptide to come off of cooldown so he can pull him back. Instead, it'll just be the Solar Scares backing away. I say that, but Scream goes in, gets the sash, gets the ult, and that's a dead Captain Twig on landing.
As is Scream, Netroid able to pick that kill up with the airstrike, but an aggressive airstrike cost him his life.
Good lord, Netroid's gone, and Big Man Tings late on the rotation cannot save anybody. Just lane to lane, you know, poke each other back and forth. Late game team fights maybe the more important, but again, we'll hold off on that as Captain Twig is picked up, thrown to the wolves, and Baronic will be the one to get the kill. When it comes to those two solo laners, Mifflin, how does that late game kind of pan out for both these sides?
Variety going to be a little bit more aggressive in the team fight. He's going to be able to dive a little bit more.
Solo laners.
Yeah, I mean, SOT, I guess, can just not go for Bulwark because he's got it built into the kit. Same can't be said of Twig, though. Oh, my God.
Twig losing a lot of health, but so is Scream. The rotation for Variety. Ultimate off the mark by Big Man Tings, but Captain Twig says, thanks for trying for the fight, but I've got a team right behind me. And then it's going to be a Scorpion and a kill to the King.
Similarly, the Camelot Kings have to show up to put up a defense with the Solar Scarabs take it.
River's Rebuke is used. SOT and Baronic low. Beads out of the Hunter. Nitro trying to fight through.
What?
But will he have enough health to get through? No, the bees and the bluestone take his health bar away. And Genetics has to use the beads just to get away from Inbound. Riptide will not save his life. He's pushed against the wall and nowhere to go.
Man, Baronic just stands his ground, says, look, I might not play the most hunters in the league, all right? I know I'm a mid laner, but I'll certainly land my auto attacks and my stinger Netroid. An objective or a buff to a ferocious roar or the dot damage from a Khepri, and you just know it's not a lucky day.
There's another dot damage that gets this one. No, it will be the Solar Scarab. Scream picks up Variety and throws him up into the sky, but who's going to wait for him on the tail end of the fight? It's going to be Stewart with an ultimate, gets the Dark Portal, and Variety has to use the Bat Out of Hell to get away, and Genetics going to try and divide the attention by throwing a Riptide out. But Variety has a lot of sustain in his kid. Vampire Bats try to heal him back up. Riptide thrown through, but Inbound picks up one, while the rest of his team picks up the life of Variety, and right after Genetics.
Man, I wonder what the comms are like right there. Variety says, yo, just give me a Riptide.
Fire Giant under half health. Twig and Big Man Tings are alone on this right side to try and stop it. They've gotten off the Fire Giant. They want the fight. Captain Twig does a lot of damage to Baronic, but Captain Twig doesn't have any backup. It's Scream who picks him off while Big Man Tings is set down under the tier 1 tower with no way in. The Solar Scarabs are going to grab the Fire Giant.
And they do it easily.
For what he's been able to do. 2, 2, and 6 on this Naja.
Yeah, an unorthodox pick. The Solar Scarabs start to approach this left side Phoenix, and it's burning down. Incredibly fast, easy pickup.
Variety's not able to save the Phoenix, but maybe they can get something else after. Inbound low, uses the ultimate to try and pick somebody up, but it's beads across the board to hold him out, while Baronic goes down and trades at least one for his life. It's Hunter for Hunter down, but Stewart is still one Hunter's left standing, and it's going to be the Solar Scarabs pushing into the base with only Genetics and BMT to defend.
That's the last of the Omi available, but it does not matter. The Scarabs have got their eyes on the prize.
Gonna need a lot of damage. Minions are just now coming in to help them out. Inbound himself is fairly low, but Genetics is gonna be all that they need to take out in order to claim this Titan, and the Solar Scarabs are able to tie up the set here in game 2.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it. I thought that was a loss. I really did. I was looking at the draft.
Nike that. Come on. Might be Sparks. You never know.
You're telling me RDO versus Nike is going to be a fun lane to watch?
Well, I just want to leave it out. Maybe. You never know.
No, that's good casting by you. Like, it could be fun to watch.
Yeah.
We don't want to totally isolate that side of the map.
Agreed. You get it.
Right, I totally get it. And we will see if the solo lane has some sparks. In game number 3, the tiebreaker between the Kings and the Scarabs starts right now.
Yeah, it's just a tiebreaker for now, but it is the best of 5 sets. So this one will just be the one to get them that lead and put them ever closer to closing out this set. It's J-Mac and Mifflin do secure their purple buff, keeping that one away. And on the right side of the map, once that level 5 hits out of BMT, it's a nice and easy kill, but maybe it's not even necessary because Variety is the one who picks up first blood.
Yeah, Big Man
Not necessarily interested in going for the kill here. They just want to strip away this blue buff and keep as much farm and experience from SOT as they can. Variety will still be here to at least deal some damage back at him and maybe set up for the team, because once again, here comes that World Weaver and Captain Twig right on the back end. It's a shield out of SOT, but how long will that delay his life? Maybe for not much longer. He'll leap over the wall, but Twig's got a leap of his own, and he'll take him out.
Yeah, SOT just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Their opposite side of the map has nowhere to run away to as Inbound. Getting a little bit aggressive in this purple buff, may be able to steal this one away.
Oh, nope, it'll be an EI Jutsu out of Netroid to stun out Inbound.
Early on, if Stu tries to kind of leverage that aggression that AMC has, could be a double-edged sword.
Big Man Tings off the backflip, stun off the mark by Scream, and a bead's used to get out of the whirlwind of Rage and Steel by Inbound. Genetic stun out, an ultimate onto Inbound, and a Riptide right after. River's Rebuke popped, and Inbound is just trying to find any path out that he can, but all the damage is being thrown right back at Genetics. He gets jumped on by Baronic. It's a quick kill. Turnaround for the Scares, but with Variety rotating over. The Kings at least make it a 1-for-1 trade.
They do. The Solar Scarabs still hovering nearby. Variety on his way back to lane, but the remaining Scarabs are still incredibly healthy.
Big Man Tings gets a little bit of damage done to him by SOT. Stewart gets hit by a Fear No Evil. Maybe Scream can save somebody. No, he will go down, but the dot damage after is enough to grab Captain Twig and once again trade 1-for-1 in the midst of this jungle skirmish here. But Variety gets caught out, and that's going to be maybe a 2-for-1 here. And the Scarabs, they grab the solo laner.
Baronic needed that infusion of gold and
That
experience.
much more
Now
enticing for Netroid.
Yeah, I think so. It's an early aggressive pickup. He's gone towards that style of build. Works it incredibly well as Stewart gets put down so fast.
Stewart gone just like that. Captain Twig credited for the kill, and once again, more buff potential steals here. Inbound picks up Captain Twig, throws him right into the waiting arms of Baronic, but Inbound is there. Furious Roar, the hook slam, and then the lashes right after. Scream and Baronic able to help close out that kill, and Inbound is not letting Netroid go while the rest of them are trying to grab Genetics, but Scream gets rooted out, body blocks out of Inbound. Make sure that the jungler does.
Now, with the help of Variety, see if maybe he can pick up Baronic.
Baronic got caught right out of the stealth. Beads burn. Variety is here He'll go for the root, but not much more beyond there. Transformation out of Baronic to transform into the Nike. And now Variety with no health bar left and nowhere left to go. Uses the dash, but Baronic still has some damage right after the Ren will pick up the kill, and maybe even more if Big Man Tings gets caught.
Big Man Tings forced to rotate into the jungle, so body blocks from inbound nearly good enough to close that gap. SOT over the wall with Scream. But Captain Twig there with the peel. Great play from Baronic to realize they've got the burn.
Oh, and a stun right after. Fear no evil. Will the dots be enough to take him out? No, it's not. Captain Twig lives on, but SOT will not let that happen for much longer. He leaps under the tower, takes him out with the Ren, and turns his sights towards BNT. In fact, now it's the mid-jungle out of the Solar Scarabs. They've been able to put themselves ahead. However, if you look at the opposite side here, Genetics and Netroid still able to hold a bit of a lead against their opposition. But Captain Twig, with no beads, he's got to depend on anything else to help him out, but there's nothing there to help him. It's Scream who grabs him.
There, man. That's one of the double-edged swords going for Blink in the first slot as Big Man Tings falls victim as well.
He's got Aegis, but that Aegis only delays the inevitable. Leap over the wall from Scream would have been more than enough to take him out. So Bulwark of Hoka here coming out of inbound.
Yeah, it fits the aggressive style that he's been trying to play as Variety narrowly avoids the stun.
Fear no evil out of Captain Twig. Scream is pushed against the wall, but he's still got destruction and ultimate out of Variety, or out of inbound gets him out, but Solar Troll will make sure to chase him down and pick up Twig, and now a full retreat from the Solar Scarabs as this bear wants something. This bear wants blood, but how long can Variety go? How much can he get?
To deal with destruction or any lifesteal that Stewart's bringing. But a very unorthodox and interesting build here from Big Man Tings.
Early fail not, and maybe some more early fighting here. SOT caught out by Variety. Root just off the mark, just shy from grabbing SOT. The Genetics and Variety up at the front line, but they're being burned away. Camelot Kings do get the Pyromancer and all of that, but ult out of inbound will throw Genetics back to the Wolves. It'll be Baronic who grabs that kill, but the Scarabs, they're not done with the fight just yet. A leap in to chase down the carries. Captain Twig at half health. Scream trying to close in the gap, and so is inbound. And inbound gets turned around, and Big Man Tings is the one who puts him out.
Man, inbound throws him a life raft there. The Camelot Kings, that is. It was a losing play from Captain Twig to try to
stop
use
that objective right in its tracks. It's inbound, trying to get aggressive here up on the Xingqian.
Yeah, just creating a little bit of space.
Where did the Fury's health go?
Wall with SOT.
The Fury, it's gone. There's no chance for them to get in. Scream gets pushed away by the Fear No Evil out of Captain Twig, but Captain Twig has no beads, no health, and not much life left to be. It's SOT who grabs him, and then a quick transformation out of Baronic puts a second Nike on the field. You thought one was a problem, the second one is here, and so it's destruction out of Scream, but it's a 1-for-1 as they're able to grab SOT in the midst of the fight.
Yeah, Netroid just sinking damage into every single one of the Solar Scarabs. He is yet to be the target in the engagement, and he is playing with that space. Now Variety stepping forward. They just straight up pulled it. The Solar Scarabs are heat checking the Camelot Kings, and the Kings are here.
Variety is the only one at the front line here. Captain Twig, well, he wanted to fight, and maybe that Fear No Evil was just enough. No, Baronic is able to get the last source of damage out there to take him down. Now Variety and Big Man Tings forced into the mist as SOT and the rest of the team zone them away as Fire Giant is being burned away by the rest of the Scarabs. The carries are dealing the damage. The World Weaver comes out, but it doesn't find the target they were looking for. Scream is holding on to this for so long. They do get the Fire Giant, but they lose inbound.
Scream, very low HP, immune death with the destruction, and Variety not as lucky, will fall down. Double to Stewart. What can Big Man Tings do? Maybe a little bit here as the Solar Scarabs are low, but I'm not confident in his ability to take the fight.
Oh no, Netroid walk away. Baronic though gets rooted in place, and now Big Man and Netroid can turn it around. They pick up two in the midst of it, and the Fire Giant that went so well for the Scarabs, they were able to kill. Started, but not a whole lot of commit out of the Solar Scarabs. A Riptide holds Stewart back, and then an ultimate from the River's Rebuke will hold him in place, but there's not much more beyond there because inbound expends his ultimate and maybe even his life to try and at least get the carries out of danger. And the Kings get one pick for their trouble.
Stewart loses beads and Aegis and the life of his dual lane partner, and the Solar Scarabs get nothing. Damage output of Scream needs a little bit of help. A Dark Omen from Baronic? Yeah, you probably finish off any one of those kills when Scream decides to engage. Now no beads, no ultimate, in some trouble.
Gonna get a quick stun against Captain Twig, but Big Man Tings has an ultimate ready to go, ramps it up, and shoots it right into the jungler there. So it's gonna be one kill. The Camelot
Essentially
King
playing like an assassin for the next 30 seconds at least.
The wards peppering the area. The Camelot Kings will pull the Fire Giant, but Scream is the one hit by an ultimate. Captain Twig goes in, and no beads up, or at least used way too late there by Scream. He gets picked off for the first blood in the fight. Variety tossed back by Inbound. Rivers Rebuke comes crashing in. Veronic gets his transformation, throws out a health shield of his own, and that's Variety, the one in danger. He runs right into a wall and right into death.
Stewart, healthy in the team fight, doesn't have a lot of aggression tossed his way. Captain Twig decides to target Scream, who had beads and ultimate. That's a crazy play. Kali shouldn't have died there ever, but he gets bailed out. Captain Twig, that is, because Scream doesn't do it. He doesn't hit his death immunity button.
Fire Giant down to 40% health, going quickly because of this double hunter, but Inbound and SOT are still here to try and stop them out. Fire Giant has not been leashed yet. Inbound trying to build distraction, knocks up two, locks a couple down in the pool. The Kings get the Fire Giant, but there's no way that Genetics should be able to get out of here. But all the while, it's Captain Twig in the back, harassing everybody all by his lonesome.
Captain Twig is the
commit
craziest.
too heavily. They are still down a slight deficit in the goal, but it's SOT and Inbound who want to start this out. Rivers Rebuke will only catch SOT while Inbound grabs a couple sets of beads. But now Inbound, with all of his mobility expended and all of his safety, he's going to be the first one out in the team fight as Netroid grabs him.
Scream and Baronic don't get involved whatsoever. SOT tries his best to create some space, but all that happens
All
is
that
the Solar
does is
Scarabs.
push Variety against the wall and finds him a way out. Now no transformation up for Baronic, and maybe not much health left here for Scream as he uses the destruction just to live on. He'll be able to run out. SOT will have to use his sleep, but Captain Twig waits out the jump, goes right into the back line, and an overhead smash over his dome takes down one. But he does end up losing his life as Stewart grabs him.
Twig trades his life to take out SOT. Not 100%. Had Twig just stayed a little bit further back with his team, Fear No Evil was coming off a cooldown, and his squad still had Fire Giant for a moment. Could have just went in.
That's half of health on Baronic. Well, no, let me correct myself. That's every bit of health that Baronic had. World Weaver deals the first half, and Netroid charges in on the horse and takes out the last
Solar
little bit.
Scarabs, and if you're lucky, Big Man Tings finds another massive ultimate, and you just shut somebody down.
I mean, we're talking how wild it is. Stewart is sitting so far back in engagements, but maybe it's Variety who needs to have a check of his own. He gets grabbed by Inbound, and there's nowhere for him to go. Variety, with a greedy play up all by himself, gets caught with no way of getting out of the ultimate. He gets taken out, and now the Scarabs have advantage around the pit.
They do, but Baronic's on the opposite side of the map trying to put up a defense, and he's one of the highest damage output characters the Solar Scarabs have got. He's just shown himself, but a transformation to Neath. I think the Solar Scarabs want this fight.
Go with a quick World Weaver. The question is, who's he going to throw it on? It's Captain Twig. It's a Fear No Evil out, and a Rivers Rebuke immediately in response as Genetics tries to zone everyone through. Blink in by Scream against Captain Twig, but he gets stunned out one too many times, but he is able to find at least one before trading his life with Captain Twig. A quick Riptide out of Genetics gets him out of danger. We've seen Scream do it either. Him and SOT did it back in the Bolt set during the group stage. But walking right through, the door has been opened up, and Scream and Baronic are going to sneak their way through. No vision caught there, and they could just go for the end here, but Captain Twig has at least come over to spot them out, has his ultimate available. Fear No Evil pushes one away, but the Titan down to a quarter health. Captain Twig gone, and Baronic and Scream all by themselves go for the back door, and they steal the game away from the Camelot Kings.
They can't keep getting away with this. It can't keep happening. It simply cannot.
Who do you think wins it? Do you think Solar Scarabs close out this set? You think the Camelot Kings bounce back?
Ooh. I kind of feel like the Scarabs, if they pressure correctly, could run away with this game. I think I'm going to give it to the Scarabs because...
And this matters. Whether you're right or wrong about this, Neil, and I'm not going to give you a chance to say why. Depends on whether or not we invite you back later on here this weekend. Solar Scarabs up 2-1 going into a must-win Game 4 for the Kings. Let's see how it plays out.
It's going to be a big one for the Kings to get a bounce back here, and they go on his own.
And he should be able to pick that one up pretty quickly. It was Scream on that side of the map, just trying to make sure the blue buff is picked up, and instead didn't have his eyes on the actual prize. Captain Twig, big rotation.
Inbounds caught out here. Genetics and Captain Twig to catch him out. Turtle is good. The pin right after. A knock up and a consume is good out of Big Man Teams. Captain Twig credit to First Blood. Baronic and Scream a little late on the rotation, maybe late to try and save this red buff.
Camelot Kings steal away both of the most important buffs on the map and still won't even let Scream free farm. Stewart in some trouble as well. Twig able to connect the pin, but does not want to walk into the tier 2
Item.
tower.
Meanwhile, it's Scream and Captain Twig again on this right side. We saw speed buff invade and maybe now a fight with a level 5. Captain Twig goes into the turtle form, a knock up against Scream, and no mana. Variety is going to turn this fight back around, and with a pin, one follow-up auto after, Captain Twig puts his second up on the board.
Captain Twig getting involved very early on and will not stop. I think he's got good positioning here with the rest of his team making the rotation to attempt a speed buff invade, but instead rotates back to lane, and SOT doesn't have ult.
SOT under his own tower and under fire. It's a third kill for Captain Twig, and the man who was the prime away, so that way his team can grab the Scorpion and continue to push that aggression that they've had. A lot of it just over here on this right-hand side. Genetics trying to go back to base. Scream does manage to spot him out and will try and close the gap on the kill. Just needs a couple of swipes, or maybe just one, to at least get the Scarabs up on the board. SOT is here to make sure there's no further chase, and even with inbound sitting back behind this could open up the door here for the Solar Scarabs to make a play.
It could. They can't go for a cheeky Gold Fury because Oracle Vision does belong to the Camelot Kings. Maybe a Netroid gank could be in the cards, but Netroid's fighting back.
Netroid will fling one in the sky. Inbound has to knock up 2 with his ult, but right on the waiting ground, it's Genetics with a Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, but Scream down to have health, and it's big man Tings who's left hung out to dry as SOT rotates to the fight and picks up 1, while Scream is left all by himself, and Variety is able to get it.
The tanky front line of Variety and Captain Twig have finally made the rotation inbound. Drop low with Genetics on the flank.
You got the old one Nike. Well, how about a second one as Baronic gets his transformation, but yet again another 1-for-1. Now it's just Genetics here in the middle of 3, and he'll go down, making it a 3-for-2 trade coming up for the Solar Scarabs. You get a Draugr, you get beads, and you get an ultimate out of them.
Slow back from Stewart here, who's walked all the way into the jungle, leaving inbound high and dry.
Taunt in by Captain Twig against inbound, but inbound has nowhere left to go as he's surrounded by Genetics and Captain Twig. Taking up the tower was Netroid, all just to set up for Captain Twig to pick up his 4th with their sustain. It seems they're leaving a lot of that up to Captain Twig.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Twig itemize towards it so early on as a teleport forward from Netroid finds Stewart.
A nice little bait will pick up the Hunter. There is an ult ready for Stewart as soon as he lands through. He'll get away for now. Use the EI Jutsu to get out and inbound. Rotating over. They can turn this fight back around. The lifesteal and the damage is good. Stewart picks up 1, takes down Netroid, and lives on with the help of his support.
Man, only Netroid makes a phenomenal play like that, utilizing the teleport aggressively, only to get punished by a superior rotation by the Solar Scarabs. And SOT on tour continues acting as goaltender around the Gold Fury, spots out the rotation from the Camelot Kigs, so he might be able to find a steal on the Pyro.
Pyro started up. Gold Fury will go down. That's a foregone conclusion for the Scarabs. Pyromancer's still low. Camelot Kings do get the Pyro, and can they get a kill to boot? Yes, they will. SOT surrounded by all 3. He'll trade his life out for an objective. Some extra help there by inbound, and Scream is able to bail out the mid laner.
Man, Baronic so close to tasting death in that engagement. Had Variety been able to transform into the Druid stance, he falls.
Ultimate out of Genetics will pick up inbound and throw him into the waiting arms of the mid laner, but inbound only lives for a little while longer after landing. Variety gets the credit for the kill, and now Scream under the tier 1 tower has to walk Scream here in the mid lane, but it's a Kamazotz who has a decent bit of mobility, and they've left Variety all by himself. A pull in from inbound, and then SOT to fire the damage, and here comes Baronic around the corner to clothesline him, but now the rest of the Kings have shown up. It's big damage through, but Variety is still the first one down. SOT half health. Baronic jumps in, and it's another Nike ultimate to force Netroid away.
You can't leave Variety alone like that. Now big man Tings, the sole recipient of the Scarab's chase.
Gets a lot of health back from that shield, but he's still going to be in critical health once that shield is gone. Netroid forced to ult away from SOT, and Genetics full health on this Xingqian will make sure to zone the Scarabs away.
I tried to chase Scream out in mid, leaving him completely alone. The Solar Scarabs find a free pick.
Maybe they can find a pick here up against inbound. Captain Twig is chasing down the tree, and with Netroid in the tailwind of it all, they'll finally at least come up with the kill they were maybe looking for earlier. Camelot Kings left side tier 1 tower was taken by Scream after that fight was all said and done. But the Kings going for a pincer maneuver. Variety, Captain Twig going for the hunt, but it's Captain Twig turned on, stunned down. It doesn't even get a chance to fight back.
And now the Solar Scarabs get a power play, 5 versus 4, grouped up heavily. Maybe inbound able to connect a pool or something along those lines, can turn so much damage into him. So an inverse of what we just saw. Now it's the Solar Scarabs licking their wounds and trying to run away as 4 members of the Camelot Kings search for
Variety right into the fray. A blink in Pyromancer, a greedy call here by the Scarabs, and they might pay with it as Netroid grabs Baronic. Stewart knocked up, doesn't have his beads, doesn't have its ages, neither does Inbound. He gets flung around, and Stewart collapsed on by the front line. And Metroid is the one who comes up with pay dirt. 2 kills on the board for the Hunter, and making a triple as he grabs another.
SOT has his back stopped. Luckily, Scream still alive on the map. Should be able to divert the attentions of a couple members of the Camelot Kings. The Solar Scarabs, teetering on the edge of brilliance and idiocy, finally find themselves on the other end of it. The Camelot Kings come out ahead in this fight. But take a peek at the gold, J-Mac. It still only is about 3K.
And who cares about the gold? There's 20 seconds left on Baronic. The Kings might just be able to push this game up. It's Scream and SOT, the only ones left on defense against 5. 15 seconds on Baronic, but the Titan is not going to get any luxury of help here. It's going to be the Camelot Kings collapsing in and closing game number 4 to take us all the way to game 5.
Well, my prediction for the set was wrong. I called 4 no matter what, but you can't count out the Camelot Kings or the Solar
That being said,
Scarabs.
throughout the set, the team that has the ball and is running the court, they're making mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So it could be anyone's game, but when you look at the draft, it's whoever just gets the early game lead should theoretically take a dub.
And then we get back to the Poseidon Jungle conversation where we're wondering if Poseidon Jungle is going to be able to compete with the Erlang Shen. Lots of questions will be answered. Game 5 between the Kings and the Scarabs right now.
One team is going home. The other team is moving on to that rollout. Not going to be much more beyond there. But I think going back to this Poseidon, maybe something to talk about here, though. Scream gets picked off. First blood goes to Captain Twig, and maybe a second one as he dives under the tower, and a double kill on the board early as Captain Twig puts him down.
I take it back. Last game, it is a lot of early game dominance, maybe a little bit more so this time around, as Captain Twig is legitimately massive.
Inbound, you need to be careful. Impale is good. A leap in. There's nowhere for Inbound to roll. He gets the shield, but as soon as he gets a chance to get out, he's knocked up by Captain Twig, who puts his second kill on the board. Netroid getting, or no, it's Genetics.
Additional movement speed, not only from his passive, but also from Doomorb in that first slot. So rotation advantage should belong to the Scarabs.
Captain Twig recognizes he's going to get aggressive. It's a quick Kraken coming out of Scream and the help of Inbound to put down Captain Twig and finally put the Scarabs on the board. And one thing I want to address maybe...
But a lot of the XP gaps that the Camelot Kings were relying on have been closed up. Fortunately, Netroid has been dominating the duo lane. No better way to put that one. Maybe Variety falls.
Kraken out of Scream catches Variety, and SOT puts the last damage necessary, but Scream is low, and Genetics will grab him with the roar. Maybe a little bit more after, or at least just a retreat. But now Captain Twig is all by himself. Cataclysm and a Shockwave and a knock-up out of SOT. Make sure to displace this jungler. It's a double kill for SOT. And maybe they can add a little bit more as big man Tings makes a quick rotation out.
What a wildly scrappy game so far. 7 kills in 6 minutes. Burn an objective faster? Hard to say. Who's got the vendor secure? I'd say it's pretty easy to say that it's a team that has the Kraken, so late game coin tosses. They're major favorites.
Inbound and a Kraken. And plus Baronic. Throw him in the midst there with that Stinger. He'll get a cooldown reset after picking up that kill. Evens up the kills, 4-4 now for the Solar Scarab. Scream manages to squeak by. Scarab's able to pick that one up, even up the kills, and willing to start picking fights. And their first target is SOT.
Keep your eyes on the Solar Scarab's jungler. Scream's ultimate is the win con.
Inbound, stunned out, has to use the Stone Shield against himself. Genetics to zone him out, while Variety zones the other 3 of the Scarabs here. It'll be the duo lane rotating back over in towards their lane. The Primal Fury started up, but SOT may have walked just a little too far forward. Big man Tings puts him down with the help of the rest of his squad, and now right back to the Primal Fury goes the Camelot Kings and the Scarabs.
Solar Scarab's over towards the right, 4 versus 2.
Genetics goes in with the ultimate, but doesn't find anybody. He'll just spin in place and is surrounded. 3 players chasing him down. The Fire Giant will throw a little bit of damage his way. Variety's here to try and help him out, but it's a Cataclysm and a Kraken onto Genetics, plus the knock-up right after. But no one dealt the last bit of damage. Genetics, is he going to make it out? No, he will not. SOT leaps in and puts him out with the barrier.
Variety and Big Man Tings have to make their rotation
fast,
out.
and it's just Netroid really putting out that damage. He'll be held onto by Genetics. SOT leaps in to find BMT, and BMT will immediately leap out, but Variety is going to try and slow SOT down, and all the while the Fire Giant never got leashed, and that one's going to go directly to the Camelot Kings. SOT at half health. He jukes away the turtle, and he leaps out, and that might just be enough for him to get out, but Genetics over on the opposite side does manage to find Baronic while Captain Twig continues the chase down against SOT. Whirlpool is good. to get the solo out.
I just can't believe Scream went for the split push. Bobby finds a two-man Cataclysm, but it's Veronic who falls.
Veronic is down. It's already 1 versus 4. Make that now 3 only alive for the Solar Scarabs to face against the might of the Camelot Kings. Right side Phoenix goes down. And it's 5 versus 3 in the throne room, and only Scream has an ultimate left. Whirlpool gets tossed out instantly. A leap in by SOT, and it's Variety tanking this one up. Kraken goes through and splits the uprights in the midst of it all, and it's the Camelot Kings taking game number 5, taking the set, and sending the Solar Scarabs packing in day 1.
A wild back and forth set has been nightcapped by one of the strangest games I think I've ever seen. Scream hits like 2 Krakens in the early game, gets a kill both times, and then says, all right, I think that's enough for me. I think I've had